Tulsa World Sports columnist Guerin Emig here, along with my friend and colleague Barry Lewis, has finger on the pulse of high school sports as always. It's beating pretty loud right now, Barry. We've got state championships pretty much everywhere this week and next. I know that it's busy, but it's also kind of a cool time of year for you and Mike Brown, your colleague, to go out and celebrate successes, because there are going to be a lot of them in and around the metro in the next 2 weeks.
There will be, and then from there we'll just roll right into the All World Awards.
Yeah, that's right.
It is a fun and interesting time of the year, and although the spring sports championships got off to a delayed start in a sense, because the slow pitch tournament, the first day of that tournament was rained out, so that's been delayed. But the soccer playoffs got started on Monday, and we're flying. It's gonna be a fast and furious 2 weeks coming up. We got action going, and let's see if I can remember them all. Tennis, track and field, golf, baseball, and soccer. So there's going to be some state finals that are here in the Tulsa area, and then others in the Oklahoma City area. And looking first at baseball regionals this week in most of the classes. And you look in 6A, I would say Owasso every year seems to be the team to beat, but there's some other contenders that could give them a battle. Owasso did not win its district this year. Union swept Owasso 2 games.
Wow.
So Owasso, though, I had a chance last week to see for the first time in person left-hander Brennan Phillips.
Okay.
All I have to say is he is compared by Coach Larry Turner so often to Dylan Bundy. So should I say enough said on how talented he is, since Dylan Bundy was, an incredibly high draft choice back 10 years ago. And Brennan Phillips is really having that type of season. He's struck out something like 121 in 50 innings.
Gosh.
He is just eye-popping. And even though it was not his best performance when I saw him last week, you could just see the talent is just so incredible that he has. And they have another ace who's posting almost similar type numbers, if you can believe that, Jackson Farrell. So if you get a chance, if you want to see some potential high major league draft choice, or draft choices, you might want to catch Owasso baseball, either in the regionals or in the state tournament. The regionals are Owasso's hosting, so you won't have to travel as far if you're in the Tulsa area. So it's a lot of great baseball action coming up in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, you mentioned the draft, and it's a segue to draft prospects, a segue to the NFL draft, and we'll tie this back to the prep scene here in the metro. And I wanted to ask you about Trey Brown, Dylan Stoner, and Zaven Collins, 3 area players who were either drafted or, in the case of Stoner, signed by the Raiders, I believe, as an undrafted free agent. It gives me an opportunity to have a little fun and ask about your early remembrances of these guys, if and when you saw them, and if and when they first sparked your interest as this could really grow into something special with either of the 3.
I think, I smile when I think of Trey Brown, because he had those big dreams even at Union. I mean, he was talking about one day playing in the NFL, and here it is.
Yeah.
I mean, fast forward 5 years later, 6 years later or so. I mean, he had that vision at that point. Looking forward to the day. I mean, he's so confident. So that's what I remember about Trey Brown, just besides being such a dynamic player.
Yeah.
Just talking with him for an interview is just talking about, he wanted to play in the NFL, and here it is. Here's his chance. And the Dylan Stoner, of course, what a great career at Jenks. And I guess the biggest moment for him was catching the winning touchdown pass in the late stages of the 2014 championship game from Cooper Nunley. What a dynamic combination they were. And so Dylan, I don't know if we ever talked about, I don't remember talking about the NFL ever with Dylan Stoner.
Right.
He was just looking forward to the next, for the opportunity to play in college, but it's
Right.
really fun to see the way he's progressed. And I could see him, just seeing how he was at OSU, I could see him playing at the next level, definitely. I think, and then Zaven Collins, it was interesting. He was on my all-state team, but I never got a chance to see him play live in person in football, but I did see him on the basketball court.
Okay.
And I remember a nephew of mine wound up, I talked to him about what it was like to play, who was playing football. And he one time had a chance to play against Zaven Collins. And when I just asked him about Zaven Collins, his eyes just sort of like just popped out. He had never played against an athlete. I mean, this is small school football.
Sure.
I mean, they had never seen an athlete like Zaven Collins on the football field. So that's my memory of Zaven. Those are my memories of Zaven Collins.
Could Zaven play a little basketball?
Oh, yes. He could play a little basketball, as you can imagine. So it's, I think Zaven, I mean, it's going to be fun watching the Arizona Cardinals, isn't it, for local fans?
No doubt. I just a quick aside, I did not cover Collins or Stoner, or I really can't say I covered any of the three in high school. I did get a chance to sit down with Trey Brown at the Union Complex the week that they played Norman North in the championship, because I found it fascinating that he was about to match up one-on-one potentially with the son of his future college coach in Drake Stoops. I just assumed that it would be Brown versus Drake in the championship. I can't remember how often they met head to head that, in the final, the 6A final that year. But I love I knew of Trey, had not spoken to him. I loved how you mentioned the word confident. He was that, there's no doubt, but he was also a real pleasant visit, right? He was just a real nice kid. And can't say I came away from the interview thinking he was eventually going to be a mid-round pick of the Seattle Seahawks, but there was something very impressive about him, even just the way he carried himself. And so perhaps I should have been more inclined to think of him, not just in Oklahoma terms that day I talked to him, but the NFL as well. So,
well, I would have never imagined. Yeah, I thought that he had a chance to play in the NFL, and just his confidence at that time, as we talked about earlier, made me a believer. Because believing you can do it, that's sure. You got the physical skills that he does, and that's half the battle. So,
and now he gets to go play with another guy that I think you saw play a few times at Booker T. Washington, Tyler Lockett.
Lockett,
about to be teammates.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. And then, of course, we've got another local there, all-pro snapper Tyler Ott.
That's right. From Jinx.
So that's Seattle Seahawks are going to be a fun team for local fans here in Tulsa to watch as well.
Begs, and I got to make a mental note to ask you when we do one of these videos next fall. I'll have to remember one week to say, okay, what high school player are you watching right now that's going to be an NFL draft pick in 5 years? We'll see if we can't put the Nostradamus cap on you.
All right.
See what we get.
Play it back 5 years later. Yeah.
All right. Well, Barry, have fun with the spring championships. You and Mike, I know, plus your bevy of reporters. I think I'm even going to pull in some golf and soccer before these 2 weeks are expired. So I can't wait to sort of go back to my high school roots and pitch in. So for all the effort we make, we'd like you to certainly read our copy, read our game coverage, state championship coverage with the Tulsa World and on tulsaworld.com. Barry, thanks for your work, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right. Thanks, Guerin.